Good morning everyone and welcome back. This is class 6, subject social science, chapter number 6 of geography, and this chapter lectures we have already covered. Today we are going to take the recapitulation of all the topics covered in different lectures, and the name of the chapter is Major Landforms of the Earth. So it's going to be our summary lecture. So let's see the topics that we are going to cover. Topics to be recapitulated are internal and external processes of the earth, means what is happening inside and on the surface of the earth, that due to which the different landforms they are formed, that will recapitulate. Mountains, then types of mountains. In types will take fold mountain, block mountain, volcanic mountain, and the next topic it will be plateaus, the second landform that will take. Then how these plateaus they are important for human beings, that also along with plateau. And next topic, the next landform it will be plains, along with it how they are useful to man, and at last we'll take the homework. So let's start the topics one by one. Internal process. By the name we can identify internal, the happening that is there inside the earth. So due to the internal process, as I told you, internal and external processes of the earth, they are basically responsible for forming the different landforms there on the earth. The ground upon which we are standing now, it is not still. There are continuous movements inside the earth. These movements are very slow that we cannot feel them, but they are going on. The movements of the earth that take place inside the earth surface and causes changes in the earth's crust is known as internal process of the earth. It leads to the upliftment and sinking of the earth surface at several places. So as the name internal process, the happenings inside the earth surface, and the result of that there are the changes on the earth crust, means earth surface. As we can take example of earthquake, the center of the earthquake, obviously it is there inside the earth, that is known as epicenter also, and due to the earthquake there are different changes that occur there on the surface of the earth. And the second example we can take, that is of volcanic eruption. Obviously due to the changes there inside the earth, that volcanic eruption that happens, and due to that on the surface of the earth the changes they come. So this is the internal process. The changes those are coming due to the internal processes of the earth. Next is external process. By the name we can say that it is happening there on the surface of the earth. The continuous wearing down and rebuilding of the earth's surface is the result of external process. The happenings there on the earth surface, they come there in the external process, and it covers the continuous wearing down of the earth surface and a rebuilding of the earth surface. These are two things that will cover. Wearing down of the earth surface, that is also known as erosion, and rebuilding of the earth surface is known as deposition. And this happens due to some of the sources like the wind, water, glaciers. When the wind blows and at the very high speed, obviously it is wearing down or cutting down the earth surface, that is the erosion. In the same way, when water that comes there in flow, it is also cutting down the earth surface, that is erosion. And at the some places when the flow is low, during that particular time whatever they have brought there from the erosion, they deposit that. So that is rebuilding of the earth surface. So wearing down of the earth surface is called erosion. So how we define the erosion? The process in which the earth surface that is cutting down or the wearing down of the earth surface is called erosion. Rebuilding of the earth surface is called deposition. So these are the two terms that we use. They are in the external process. Sorry. Due to these internal and external processes, different landforms are formed on the earth. As in the starting I told you that these internal and external processes, they are responsible for forming different landforms there on the earth. Now let's discuss about the different landforms there. In our syllabus there are only 3 main landforms, those are described: plateaus, plains and mountains. So one by one we'll take them. First is mountain. What are the features of these mountains and how we define the mountain? Mountains are huge masses of land that rise to great heights of more than 900 meters in comparison to the surrounding areas. They have steep slopes, they have a small summit and broad base. We can say like a triangle. We know that in triangle the base that is broad and the top, or you can say the summit, that is small. So the mountains have the broad base and small summit. They are high from the surrounding area. Near about the common height we can take from 900 meter. It may be exceeding it, like if we talk about the highest mountain peak, that is Mount Everest, with the height of 8,848 meters. Like Mount Everest, there are some other peaks also there in the Himalayas. So the mountains, they have the great height in comparison to the surrounding, and the steep slope. The mountain's top is known as a peak, as Mount Everest is a peak. When mountains are arranged in a line, it is called mountain range. So these are some of the definitions also. Means it can be asked that what is mountain range. So you must know what is this mountain range. Mountain range, when the mountains they are arranged in a line, that is known as the mountain range. And what is peak? The mountain top is known as peak. And one more thing here we can take, the mountains, those are very high, they are covered with the snow all the time, and there the glaciers are found. Glaciers are the moving rivers of ice. So the glaciers, how can we define? Moving rivers of ice, that is known as glacier. In some mountains there are permanently frozen rivers of ice. They are called glaciers. As I told you, permanently frozen rivers of ice, they are known as glaciers. So these are some features of the mountain we can define. The height more than 900 meter. They have the broad base and small summit. They have the steep slopes. The peaks of the mountains, the top of the mountains are known as peak. When the mountains are arranged in a line, they are known as mountain ranges. So in this way we can write the different features of a mountain. The next thing, types of mountains. There are 3 types we have done in this chapter: fold mountain, block mountain and volcanic mountain. So here we will discuss all 3 along with their different examples also. Fold mountain. See the block mountain and the third volcanic mountain. So let's see one by one. Number 1, fold mountain. Here in this picture you can see the fold mountain. The picture is there. You can see that in between the fold is given here. And when the land that is pressed from the opposite direction, and due to that the fold that occur there in center, so they make the fold mountain. Okay, so this is the fold mountain. Now These mountains are formed when Earth's surface is to be pushed up from opposite directions to form folds. For example, the Himalayan mountains. This is one example. Along with it, you can take the Alps mountain, Andes mountain. Okay, these are the examples of new fold mountain. Okay, in comparison to that, some of the fold mountains like Aravalli, Ural mountain, Appalachian mountain, they are also the fold mountain, but they are old fold mountains. And how they can be identified? By the shape. They are in rounded shape basically. The Himalayan and the Alps mountains are the examples of new fold mountains, and the Aravalli in India, the Appalachian in North America, and Ural mountains that are in Russia, they are the examples of old fold mountains, and now they are in rounded shape basically, because due to the erosion process the upper part that is already eroded by some of the reasons. Okay, so these are the old fold mountains, and the new fold mountains example Himalayan and Alps mountain. So here we have done how the fold mountains are formed and their examples. Now the next one, it is block mountain. Here you can see the block mountain. In the different blocks are given. So we'll discuss that how this block mountains these are formed and along with examples. These mountains are formed when large areas are broken and displaced vertically. Uplifted block is known as host and lowered block is known as graben. So this is there how they are formed. They are formed when a large area of earth surface that is broken and shifted at any other place in vertical form. So that is known as the block mountain. This uplifted part, that is host, and this one is graben. Now the examples. Rhine Valley and Vosges mountains are the examples of block mountain. Clear? So how they are formed and the examples we have covered. Now the third type of the mountain, volcanic mountain. By this diagram you can see that due to the volcanic activities these mountains are formed. Clear? Here the volcanic eruption, one of the picture it is taken when the lava that comes out on the earth's surface and take a shape of a mountain after it cools down. So that form the volcanic mountain. Now mountains those are formed by volcanic activities are called volcanic mountains, as I told you, and by the picture also you can see lava that comes out and take a shape of the mountain, that is known as volcanic mountain. Now the examples. For example, Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa and Mount Fujiyama in Japan. These are the examples of volcanic mountain. So all these examples you must know and where they are located. In 1 mark they can be asked there. Now the first landform, that is clear. Now how these mountains they are useful to us, or the importance of mountains. They are storehouse of water, as we discussed about the glaciers, the ice that is there on the top of the mountains. Okay, the frozen rivers are there. When the those rivers or that ice that melt down, obviously it is converted into the water. So they are the storehouse of water. Water is used in generation of hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity, the meaning you all know very well, that the electricity that is formed, that is generated by the water, that is known as hydroelectricity. So water is used, the water that is present there when it comes down from the height, it is used there in generation of the hydroelectricity. River valleys are ideal for agriculture, where the rivers they are flowing and the flat area is there, that is good for agriculture. Mountains have rich variety of flora and fauna. Flora the different type of plants there are included there, and fauna, the wildlife that is found there. So mountains have the rich variety of flora and fauna also. They provide beautiful sights for tourists. Obviously that the people, they want to go to the hill stations when especially they are in the summer season. So they are the attraction for different tourists also, and they are important sites for several special sports like paragliding, skiing, hang gliding, etc. So these type of sports, they are played there in the mountainous areas. So in this way the mountains, they are important or they are useful to us. Now the second landform. Okay, one more thing, that is mountains are thinly populated. What is the reason behind it? Why the areas, the hilly areas or mountainous areas, the population is less there? What is the reason for that? Number one, less land is available for farming. As we know that it is very difficult to grow the crops there in the hilly areas. Only the crop is grown there when the hills, they are cut down in the flat plots, and there the terrace farming is done only. So less land is available for farming, one reason. Second, harsh climate on the mountains. In mountains we know that the climate that remains very cool, and that is really harsh for the human being. So that's why the population is less there. Very few employment opportunities, means the work that the people do, the opportunity for that it is less there. We know that agriculture area is less, the different transportation, that is also less there in the mountain areas. So due to all these reasons, the employment, obviously it affects the employment also. So very few employment opportunities are there in the mountain areas. Less developed means of transport. Obviously due to the hilly regions, the less developed transport are found there in the mountainous or the hilly areas. So these are the reasons, that's why this area that is thinly populated. The next landform, it is plateau. You can see there in the picture also. As we know that this plateau, that is the raised land. Here you can see plateau, that is the raised land but flat at the surface like a table. So the raised or land from the surrounding and that is flat from the surface is known as plateau. Now see that it is an elevated flat surface. It is often known as tableland also because of its flat surface. For example, the Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau is one of the oldest plateau in India. The East African Plateau, the Western Plateau of Australia. So these are some examples, those are given here, and see that as it is given an elevated flat land, elevated that is high. So high land but flat at the surface, that is known as plateau. So and it is also known as tableland. Why? Because like a table is the object that is raised one but flat at the surface. So that's why it is known as the tableland also. Deccan Plateau, one of the oldest plateau there in India. East African Plateau, we talk about that, and the Western Plateau of Australia, the examples of plateaus. One more example, that Tibet Plateau. If we talk about the world highest plateau, that is Tibet Plateau with the height of 4,000 to 6,000 meter. So these are the examples, and now we'll discuss how they are useful to us or what is the importance of plateaus in our life. First thing, plateaus are rich in mineral resources. If you remember, when we completed the chapter, we have covered that the African Plateau, that is famous for gold and the diamond mining. Chota Nagpur Plateau, that is famous for different metal like iron, coal, manganese also. Okay, so plateaus are rich in mineral resources. We get different mines there, we get the different minerals from the plateau areas. Plateaus have several waterfalls and they are ideal sites for generating the hydroelectricity. As we know, in the waterfall what happens? The water that comes from the height, they are in downwards, and that is the process how the hydroelectricity that is generated. And even the examples are given there in your book. The waterfalls there, the Hundru Fall and Jog Fall, that is described. Hundru Falls at the Subarnarekha river, there in the Chota Nagpur plateau, and Jog Fall there in Karnataka. These are the examples of falls there in plateau. Lava plateaus are rich in black soil that is ideal for cultivation. The lava plateau, the plateaus, those are formed due to lava. They are rich in black soil. There are different type of soil: alluvial soil, red soil, black soil. So that black soil is ideal for cultivation, especially for some of the crops like sugarcane and cotton. That's why the Maharashtrian area, that is the great producer of sugarcane and cotton, because there the black soil is found. So black soil is good for the cultivation. So that's why these plateaus, they are useful. Now the next landform, it is plain. Plains are large stretches of flat land. Some plains are extremely leveled, others may be slightly rolling. Most of the plains are formed by rivers. For example, Ganga and Brahmaputra plains in India, plains formed by Yangtze river in China. These are the examples we can write. As in everywhere, in mountains we have done examples, in plateaus we have done examples. Here are the examples for plains you can write: Ganga Brahmaputra plains in India, plains formed by Yangtze river in China. And how we define the plain, that is the large stretches of flat land, or you can say the flat land, that is known as plain. And we know that the plain, that is the leveled land. Okay, and it is really very useful for agriculture. That also will discuss how it is important for human being or how it is important for us. And here it is said that most of the plains, they are formed by the rivers. As we have completed the complete process, how the rivers, they are bringing silt and sand from the mountainous areas when they are doing the erosion process there. But when they come down in the in the valleys, or they deposit that eroded material there and form the plains. So that's why we say that most of the plains, they are formed by the rivers. So this is all about the plains, how they are formed and how we define them with their examples. Now the formation of plain, as I told you, rivers flow down from the mountain slopes and erode them. Means they are doing the erosion process with the flow of the water. They are cutting down the upper layer of the surface, and they carry their eroded material like sand and silt forward with them. When they are coming down, the eroded material, the sand, they are carrying with them forward there in the plain areas. They deposit their loaded material or the load of silt and sand along their courses and in their valleys. In this way, the plains are formed. So these deposits turned into the plains. This is the procedure how the formation of the plain, that is done by river. Now, importance of plains. We know that the plains, they are a very good place for the cultivation, for human habitation. So how these plains, they are important for us? Plains are fertile, so they can sustain the large population easily. Means here the densely populated areas are found in plains. Why? The reason is because the land is fertile and the more opportunities of employment that is found. That's why the people, they are attracted towards the plains. So we can say they are densely populated. Next thing, means of transport are easy to construct there or easy to be constructed there due to the flat land. Ideal for human habitation and the great source of the employment, also the opportunities of employment, they are found in the plain areas. That's why we can say that these plains are important for human being. Or here we can also take one more thing, that why these areas are densely populated. In that also we'll write the same reasons, because of the fertility of the plains there, they can sustain large population, and as means of transport are easy to be constructed. That's why the one of the reason of the development they are in the plains. If the development is there, that's why the more people, the more population that is centered there in the plains, it is good for the human habitation, it is good for the construction work. That's why the large population that is living there in the plains. So these are the three main landforms, those are given there in this chapter. As we have covered the recapitulations of all these topics also, at last we can take one more thing, that we should save all these the natural things that we talk about. We should not spoil them. We should use the fertile land for agriculture, for cultivation, instead of using the construction work on those plains, the fertile land. We should not throw garbage there on the plains, we should not spoil them. Clear? So I hope that all the topics with this recapitulation, they are clear to you. Now it's time for homework. Today you will get one assignment of this chapter with few questions. Which is the oldest plateau in India? What do you mean by host? Third question it is, define mountain range, means what is mountain range? Number 4 it is, what do you mean by graben? Number 5, name the old fold mountain in Russia. Name the river on which Hundru Falls is located. Number 7, which is the highest peak in the world? Where is Jog Falls located? Question number 9 it is, name the place where rope bridge is situated. It is also given in the book, you can read that. Write one mountain range in Europe. Write one important feature of young fold mountain. Where is Monarchia? Monarchia that we talk about when the mountains. So there is one mountain under the sea, there in the Pacific Ocean, that is Monarchia. Okay. So but we can't consider it as a highest mountain peak, because it is underground, because we always measure the heights from the sea level, and its height is 10,205 meters, but it is not the highest mountain peak. Monarchia there in Pacific Ocean. Number 13, which plateau is famous for gold and diamond mining? Number 14, which is the India's most densely populated plain? Write few examples of young fold mountain. Number 16, what is one of the oldest fold mountain systems in the world? Number 17, write examples of block mountain. Number 18, what are glaciers? Here you will write definition. Write examples of volcanic mountain. And number 20 it is, which is the highest plateau in the world? So these questions you will attempt in your fair register. Thank you. That's it for today. Have a nice day.